Hi lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Amy and I am a cruelty-free makeup enthusiast. So in today's video, I have some new-ish items from the drugstore that I've been dying to play with for so long in front of the camera for you all. I have several items from the NYX High Glass collection, including 2 powders. I have a primer here. I have all the 3 brushes that come with this collection as well. In addition to that, I also have the NYX Born to Glow concealer, and then I also have all the Pacifica hemp line products as well. So I've actually had these items for a couple of months. They've been sitting in my drawer. I've been meaning to play with them in front of the camera so you could kind of see my reactions to everything, and I just haven't been able to do it. So I'm finally getting to it now. I was struggling with the flu and now I have bronchitis, which is residual from the flu. Oh, so much fun. So I'm gonna edit out any coughing or throat clearing, so forgive me if I do sound a little funny or if it sounds like I'm struggling to breathe. It's because I am. So I am so excited to start off with this video. So let's just get right in with the NYX products. So when I saw this high glass collection, I think it's all inspired by the Korean glass skin trend that's been very popular across social media. So it comes with this beautiful primer base here. This one is the face primer high glass, and then it goes along with this brush right here. So this is called the High Glass Face Primer Brush. It's constructed for an even application of your favorite cream and liquid primers. This soft brush features synthetic bristles of various lengths, firming all the grooves and ridges you need to reach and prime. Very cool. So these are supposed to go together right here. So let's just start off doing that. Give this a little shake. This is in the shade Moonbeam, by the way. I think this is the lightest. It comes in three colors. So there's this Moonbeam, there's the Rose Quartz, and then the Sandy Glow. All right, so I'm just going to apply it right on top. Let's try not to make a mess. I don't know if that's too much or not, but that's how much I put on. I don't even know, is that even picking up? Let's see. Put a little bit amount on, and let's just go for it. Ooh. This feels like I'm giving my face a massage. These little grooves are actually really nice to get into, like, crevices. Very nice. I've been getting into applying primers with brushes, which I really like. This is going on really nicely. My face feels moisturized, and there is a definite glow to this. And I wouldn't say that the color seems to be blending into my skin quite well. Yeah, there's definitely an illumination there, but I wouldn't say it makes my skin oily, but I think it made it look very nice. So the color again, I think like it didn't like change the tone of my skin, or it's not like I have a line of demarcation from the color that's in this. So that actually feels really good. It's a little tacky. There's a little bit of tackiness, which will help when I put my foundation on. So I'm going to put on a tried and true foundation from NYX, since we're kind of using NYX products right now. This is the Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. This is a fantastic matte full coverage foundation, great from the drugstore. I absolutely love it. I mix the shades. This one is in light, and then this one's in natural. This one's like too pale, this one's a little too dark, so I mix the two together. So I'm just going to put this over it. So this actually blended really, really nicely on top of that primer. I am really glad with how this turned out. So I know sometimes it seems like it's counterproductive to do like mattes with kind of dewy or glowy things, but I kind of like having that juxtaposition between those two things because I feel like it balances out the skin really well. For me, that's just my personal opinion. I tend to be a little bit more on the oily side. So I'm not afraid though of doing things that are like dewy and glowy because I'm all for that like fresh look. So I don't mind matte as long as it's like a natural matte. But I think using a matte foundation with this is really interesting and this blended very nice. This is the Born to Glow concealer. So this one is a radiant concealer and I have absolutely no idea what shade I got. It doesn't say anywhere. It's carefully calibrated to match our Born to Glow Naturally Radiant foundation, which I did not get. NYX Professional Makeup Born to Glow Radiant Concealer will give you instantly brighter eyes in a puff. So this micro pearl infused radiant concealer covers up blemishes, blurs imperfections, and boosts radiance. Also great as a contour concealer, the built-in puff blender allows for quick, precise, no-fuss application and lets you dab, blend, and beautify on the go. These puff concealers, it's so interesting because they're perfectly white usually to begin with. Do you see that? That's how we're going to start off. And then what we're going to do is when we squeeze this, the product's going to come through the puff and it'll never be white again. So like it's going to be really really enjoyable or something very oddly satisfying to see the product come out, but then also like the OCD in me is going to be like, it has to be clean and white again. So let's see if this will pick up. Hold on, let me see. Is that too bright? Let's see. Can you see the, let's see. Oh, I see the product coming up. There we go. There it is. You see that? Let's see. Oh, like closer. There we go. Now you can see it. Ooh, I may have just squeezed too much. All right, so let's try applying this. I always love a good radiant concealer for the under eye. Do a little brightening here. Okay, so that's that. Let's see how this blends out. I'm using my trusty Dose of Colors sponge. It's like one of my favorite sponges of all time. It's so good. I heard they're coming out with more too. Like there's a sculpting one, there's a jumbo one for faster application. I'd so be interested in seeing that. That concealer blended out really, really nicely. I don't know if you could tell. It's definitely a brightening concealer. I don't think it's full coverage because I could still see a little bit of discoloration for my under eye, which is really no big deal. Sometimes when you get into super full coverage concealers, they tend to kind of be a little bit more on the cakey side. So I don't mind more of a radiant finish. Yeah, it's blending out really, really seamlessly. And the color, again, I don't know what color I got, but it seems to be good. It's just slightly, it's like one to two shades lighter than my regular skin tone. So it's giving me a nice brightening effect. So let's set this now. So part of the High Glass collection, this is the finishing powder. This is in the shade Light. So it looks like this. It looks like it exploded in transit. There it is. It's got a beautiful print on it. Can you see that print there? There you go. That's picking up much better. Sorry for my nails. I need to get a manicure. I still have like residual polish on them. And then this is supposed to be, let's see, it's available in 3 light reflecting shades which stretch across light to deep skin tones. Each shimmering setting powder sets your makeup and gives the complexion of a sleek and polished glass-like glow. Very cool. So then you're supposed to use it with the High Glass finishing powder brush. And I don't know if you can see here, but this is actually tapered and it almost has, it's less dense than the other 2 brushes and they almost look, it almost looks like a stippling brush because the bristles are slightly, let's see, come on, focus, there we go. The bristles are slightly further apart, which I find very interesting. So let's see how that goes. I'm just going to put this in. I don't know if that's too much or not. Let's set the under eye. This is such an interesting brush. Like, I've never used something like this to set my face before. And the powder is interesting too. It's layering nicely. It does have a sheen to it. Again, that's almost like this stippling effect that it gives is really nice to get into like hard to reach areas like the crook of the nose. This is much more detailed setting, I feel like this brush is for. All right, so I have just put my bronzer and my blush on, and now it's time to get to the third step of the glass skin routine. And this is the High Glass Illuminating Powder. This is in the shade Moon Glow. It comes in 3 different colors. So this is what it looks like here. Let's see if I turn, there we go, there's the color. It says that this is a pressed gel highlighting powder, and it's packed with luminous micro pearls that catch, reflect, and refract the natural light of a multi-dimensional mirror-like sheen. So this is the High Glass Illuminating Powder brush that you're supposed to use along with it. Again, we have a nice little taper here. It's very dense as well, and it's pretty small. So I'm thinking you just kind of pick it up here and just swipe it across the cheek. So that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know if that's picking up or not. Oh, it is like a gel-like. It's very gel-like. Is this even picking up? I feel like I'm kind of digging into it to get to it. Okay. You see that? Ooh, pretty. This brush feels very soft, but it's very dense, so I kind of feel like I'm kind of dragging it across the skin. And because it's a gel formula, oh, I do like gel baked to powder formulas. That's what Ofra uses, and I always think they look so nice. This is I feel like it's very natural looking. See, now this is what it looks like. I've kind of, the print is starting to shift already from the gel kind of being moved around. Interesting. It's very subtle. I was kind of concerned that I was going to look like a giant highlight with using all of these products. Do I think I have glass skin? Let me see, get closer. I wouldn't say glass skin. I don't have perfect skin. I have quite textured skin. So for me, I don't know if I'll be able to have like perfect glass skin, but it's very illuminating and brightening. The primer isn't a pore filling or smoothing primer, so I don't expect to have like perfect, smooth, flawless skin from it, but it is illuminated, and I really don't mind that. You know, I can see the texture on my skin, so I mean, I still think it looks quite nice. Now moving on to Pacifica. So they came out with a whole hemp line, which is so funny. Like, I feel like hemp is the new, and CBD they're like the new ingredients to put in makeup in their collections. So they have the highest gloss, which is in Hemp Infused for Chronic Shine Lip Gloss Balm, they're calling it. And then I also have the Cosmic Reflect. This is the Hemp Infused Shadows. And I've played with this like a couple times, but not enough to give like a full kind of review on. But it's really interesting. I love this new case that they have. Normally, Pacifica has either really small cases or kind of big ones. And I like that they gave a really nice brush in here. You can see that brush. It's like they didn't skimp on it. And then we have a mixture of mattes and metallics in here, mostly metallics. And this whole component is actually recyclable, which I think is pretty cool. So there's that. And then I have the Highest Lash Chronic Volume Mascara. I love the pattern on this. It's so funny because there's like all these, again, cosmic, it's like moon and stars, and then the hemp leaves, which make me laugh. So I've already set my eyes, primed and set my eyes. Let's go. I don't know where to go in to begin with this palette because there's only 3 mattes. The only 3 mattes in here is Quartz, and then there's Lift Off, which is this shade right here, and then Hemp Leaf, which is this green one down here. So I'm thinking, do I want to go more blue with this? I don't even know. Let's just start off with Lift Off. That's like a medium toned, it's almost, let's see, it almost comes off as a little bit orangey. Right here, it's the shade right here. So let's try that. I want to use the brush with this that they gave us because this is actually pretty decent. amount of kick up. Again, kick up doesn't really bother me. This is blending really nice, actually. Now that I'm blending this on my eyes, this color is coming off much more like peachy than orange. That's a nice base, I think, that I have down there. There's more shimmers here than mattes, so I think I'm just going to go in with shimmers to kind of deepen up the crease, the outer V. So we're just going to go for it. And mostly, I like using more mattes when it comes to this, but you know what? We're going to have some fun with this. So let's go in. What is the next shade we should do? There is one called, I'm between these two shades. There's this shade called Star Child right here. And then this shade called Chocolate High, that's right here. I want to mix these. Let's see, Star Child is coming off. Let's see. That's Star Child. So you're getting like a bit more of like a, it's definitely more of a burgundy, I would say. And then the Chocolate High, let's see, definitely more chocolatey. So you have that brown there. I'm going to mix the two of those. I'm going to use the exact same side of this brush, which is like the bigger, fluffier side. And I'm just going to go in and deepen the crease with those two shades. For metallics, they're not too bad blending out. I think that's actually deepening up the crease quite nicely. Oh, Pacifica, you know how to get me. I'm gonna go back into Lift Off and just kind of blur out those edges. And then I'm gonna take Quartz. So Quartz is more of like that kind of like white shade, or like more nude. I don't even want to say nude. It's more like my flesh color, kind of to kind of use as either a setting powder or to diffuse harsh lines. So I'm just going to go in there and soften it up some more. Cute. All right, so let's do on the lid. What color do I want? I'm kind of between, let's see, I'm thinking of the shade Dusty here. This is looking like more of a kind of a gold, like a very light gold shade. I think I want that. And you know what? I'm kind of into like all the mixing going on. There's this beautiful shade Delphi, which is, or Delphi. I think the two of these would look really pretty. We're getting, let's see, let me use this hand here. So here's Delphi. It's like a beautiful shift to it. There's pinky peach shift, and then here's the gold here. So this is Dusty. I'm almost thinking let's mix these together. So I'm going to use the flat end of this brush. I'm just going to go in and mix the two. Oh, that's so pretty mixed together. I'm really happy with how that turned out, actually. This flat side's great as a packer brush, but I think it'll be really nice with blending the color under the eyelid too. Oh, these colors work so well together, and I'm not seeing any type of fallout onto my skin, which is actually pretty impressive. Again, fallout's not a big deal for me. I just wipe it off. And I know Pacifica has like a new palette out, and I think everything's named after animals on it. It looks so cute. It's like a well-balanced, warm-toned and cool-toned palette. All right. So underneath, I think the lash line, let's go in. Do we want to do like a pop of, would purple be too out of place with this? There's this beautiful purple called Cosmic. I almost want to go underneath the lash line with that just so I could show you more of the colors with this palette. And I'm going to use that flat shader side again, but I'm just putting in the tip of the brush and just going underneath. That really went on quite nicely. Can you see that? I just got super distracted because there's our neighbor's kids are outside, and it's the most adorable thing. This little girl is on her bicycle and she's wearing an Anna dress from Frozen. So cute. Okay, so that purple is looking really, really pretty. It almost looks like a lavender to me, like a really deep lavender. I'm loving it. These shades are definitely much more shimmer than metallic. Nothing is patchy or skipping in any way. So I want to diffuse and kind of just merge these shades here from underneath the eyelid up. So I'm going to go back into that quartz shade, which is more of like my flesh toned, which is kind of a weird description, but it's kind of closer to my skin tone. And I'm just going to diffuse that underneath. Just kind of smooth out on the harsh edges. And I'm almost thinking, let's do one more deep color. So there is this shade called Magic Wand that's in the corner here. Let's see if I just... This is coming out almost like a really deep plum, or it could be brown. Let's see, I'll show that to you. It almost has like a plumminess to it. So I'm going to go in again with the fluffy side. I'm just going to take a tiny bit on this brush, and I am just going to kind of put it in the outer V, but blend it out a little bit further. There's a little bit of shimmer in this shade, but it's not as shimmery as some of the other ones. Just doing like a... I'm almost doing just like little circular motions to bring it out. That deepened quite nicely. And I'm just bringing it out then, like, kind of further out than I normally would, so it's getting like a nice, like, almost cat eye type look. Okay, now let's do a little bit of highlighting in the inner corner and then on the brow bone. So let me find a little detail brush. All right, I'm thinking of doing the shade Looking Glass. This is this pearlescent shade right here in the center, and that's the swatch right there. So let me pick this up. All these shades are picking up really easily with brushes. Yeah, this is definitely like an opalescent type shifty with some pink in it. Really cool. I kind of like the balance. Like there's a little bit of warm tones and cool tones going on with this look that I really like. We were able to use 9 of these shadows, which I'm really happy with. I really like this brush a lot. Again, I did not skimp. This is a pretty generous brush. It's not like some kind of flimsy little thing. I thought it blended out and packed on the shades quite nicely. It's formulated without parabens, phthalates, talc, or mineral oil. It also said that hemp oil works great in combination with eyeshadows, and as it has a non-comedogenic rating of 0, so it won't contribute to clogged pores or breakouts. So that is actually really cool. This is probably one of the strongest eyeshadow formulas I think I've ever tried from Pacifica, because sometimes their shades can be very pretty, but it could be more of like a wash of color. It's not as pigmented as you want. But I have to say that these are actually pretty pigmented. They're not as bold as a pure pigment would be, but I have to say I'm actually very impressed with this palette. When I first looked at it, I didn't really know where to go with it. I didn't know kind of what colors I wanted to match just because there's so many shimmer shades in here, but I have to say I'm actually very impressed with how this look turned out. So the last two things from this collection that I want to try out is the mascara and the lip gloss. So let me put on the lip gloss. This is in Strawberry Rose. And this is a gloss bomb. So I guess it's supposed to have more like balm-like elements to it to make your lips look more moisturized. So put that on. So this is coming off as like more of a mid-toned rosy color. It's not completely opaque, but it's not sticky. It does feel very nice. It feels like I put a tinted lip balm on. It's not as shimmery as other glosses. It is glossy upon looking at it up close, but I feel like you can't really see the gloss on camera. So I wouldn't say it's something that's super glossy. It's very subtle. But again, it's not sticky, which I appreciate, because when lip glosses are sticky, not a fan of that, but that's pretty cute. So let's do the highest lash now. This is the Chronic Volume Mascara. So this has hemp-derived cannabis sativa oil infused with ultra black pigment, and is supposed to build drama while hemp fibers lift and add a longer appearance to each lash. All right, so this actually has a patented twisted brush, which is supposed to separate and add volume. I'll show you what it looks like. I've actually used this a couple times now. Can you see how different that brush is? It has like a little twisty to it. I don't know if that's picking up or not. It is very lengthening. I do have to be very careful when applying this just because the shape is very different. As you can see, it does that interesting twist to it. So I like to just get in there and I have to work at it. I tend to just take my time. This is not a mascara that you want to apply when you're in a rush because you will poke yourself in the eye because it has such an interesting shape to it. So this is probably the best mascara that Pacifica has ever come out with. I think it's nice and pigmented, so you get a nice rich black color, and it separates them very nice, and it almost gives a fluffy effect too because it separates them. Like I feel like my lashes look fluffy and light. Alrighty lovelies, so that is the final look. Hopefully you enjoyed joining me, testing out all these newer products finally for you on camera. I have to say I'm actually impressed with everything I've tried. Now, I don't know if these are going to be like staples in my collection or not, but I have to say these are really, really good. This whole high glass collection from NYX, from the powders to the brushes, are really well thought out. I think they all go really well together. And I have to say, I think my skin looks really, really good. Love the highlight. And it's a nice illuminating look, and I don't feel like it's too oily. I don't feel like I'm super shiny. I'm really, really impressed with how these kind of turned out. The brushes are really nice. I'll definitely continue using these. And yeah, this beautiful highlighter, this gel formula makes it just blend so beautifully on the skin. And it's not like this drastic stripe of highlight across my cheekbone. I'm really happy with how the pigment was distributed, and I think it looks very, very natural. And with the Born to Glow concealer, I have to say I'm pretty impressed. There's no creasing going on at all. I think it was nice and brightening. It was about 1.5 shades lighter than my normal skin tone, but I don't think it's like this stark contrast. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I would be curious to see how the deeper shades would be for like a contour or a bronzing kind of action. That would be really interesting. But the application was really, really easy. Again, now my OCD is going to kick in because this is no longer white. It definitely has all the product all over the sponge application. As for the Pacifica hemp products, these are really nice. The only thing I'm not crazy about is the lip gloss. Again, it's more of a balm formula. I'm not seeing as much shine as I would like. So it's not bad, but I wouldn't say like I would recommend it and go out and buy it. I'll continue to use it. But I feel like this is just more of a balm than really a gloss. But my lips feel really good and moisturized. There's no stickiness. It has a nice neutral mid-toned rosy shade that I think is complementary to a lot of skin tones. The mascara is fantastic. So again, really nice and pigmented. I've worn this one several times. I've never experienced any kind of fallout with it, which is really nice. And it's really great for lengthening and getting a fluffy look to the lashes. Lastly, the palette. I'm actually really impressed with this palette. Again, like I said, I didn't know really where to go with this just because the colors seem a little random with one another, but the more that I just played with it, the colors actually go really well together. I feel like you could randomly select colors across this palette and they would work for you. So they blended really, really smoothly, no patchiness at all. Pretty decent pigment. Again, it's not going to be the pure punch of like a pure pigment, but the shimmers are very nice. They applied very nice with a brush, and they even did really well in the crease in the outer V. And then when I kind of drew that V outwards a little bit more to my temples, I think it blended out quite nicely. So that is that. I really love the brush in here. I'm really impressed. So way to go, Pacifica and NYX. Thank you so much again for joining me, my lovelies. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment down below. And remember to ring that bell if you'd like to be notified every time I post a new video. I've been blabbing long enough. I'm going to go out and enjoy the rest of my day. I hope you do too. And remember, till next time, remember to stay compassionate and chic. Bye.